Industrial oil. We use it every day. It is the lubricant used by our engines and industrial machinery. We consume millions of liters a year, and we import all of it. It's a resource that our country lacks, and that once used becomes a toxic product that needs treatment. Its problem is that it's one of the most polluting commercial residues in the world.
Normally, for our service, it's a question of changing the filters, the oil filters, the diesel filters, changing the air filters. We make sure it's clean. We make some general checks if there are some common problems around. We inspect, we do the greasing, and we just make general checks around. Yeah. Normally for buses, we use the diesel oil, which is specifically written for diesel engines. It has to be done very often because our country is a bit dusty. There's a lot of wind, so it means a lot of dust around, which means we have to change the oils regularly, the oil air filters regularly.
By reducing the friction in the engine, the oil is filled with particles of sulfur, phosphorus, lead, and other residual components from the engine fuel and metal debris of the engine that ends up turning into heavy metals.
As the oil goes around, it wears out, it thickens, it forms sludge, which, by the way, it can then block the oil passages, and the result will be the damaged engines. We can have engine damages because of the sludge. The oil will thicken, because of the smoke, it will become thick and form sludge, and the result will be engine knocks or engine problems. So we have to make sure that the oil's viscosity is always at the normal rating by changing at the regular times.
Look, when we put it to our engines, it has a golden and transparent color, and after it is used, it is totally opaque. That is because the residues that the oil has accumulated when fulfilling its lubricating function stay in the oil.
Used oils or hydrocarbon waste is not good for our environment. To human life, it can cause quite some serious diseases like cancer and other stuff. On our environment, used oil on its own, when it finds itself into our waters, water bodies, and most of the organisms in that water are going to die. Again, because of the elements that we find in used oils, and again at the same time because it will block the circulation of oxygen into the water. Thereby, if you have those microorganisms and fish and stuff, then they'll start suffering and they'll die. This is the same way that oil also in large quantities would kill plants and other stuff, in the sense that when those elements enter the environment, they do not easily die off. They end up following the food chain. Say somebody drinks water with, or an animal drinks water with used oil. Then in the long run, somebody eats the animal, and that the oil finds itself along the food chain.
Since it is a synthetic product, its potential to biodegrade is limited, and it is very possible that it ends up in the water, either leaching to the groundwater or running off with the rainwater into the rivers and water resources. If it is burned, it generates very toxic gas emissions due to the presence of heavy metals. In the soil, it affects its fertility, altering its biological and chemical activity. All the oil that enters the country, only between 10 and 20% is recycled or recovered. The rest will end up in uncontrolled spills, contaminating our environment irreversibly. It is necessary to avoid that used oil ending up poisoning our environment. If we do not act against this, sooner or later, it will eventually affect our health. In a country like ours, this becomes a great challenge, with a large car fleet in which, in many cases, the production of the waste takes place in small irregular workshops, difficult to control. It is necessary to raise awareness of the problem so the agents involved, mechanics, understand that oil spills harm us all, while we seek and provide solutions for their collection, management and treatment.
Re dirisa oil a rona e leng gore when I say oil ke bua ka dio tse di tshwana le diesel le petrol ka gore go na le oil e leng gore ra e dirisa which is cooking oil. Re dirisa go rana dikoloi tsa rona, re dirisa go rana di engine tsa didiba tsa rona, mme ko phelong ya nako ha ntse re tshedile mo koloing e le clean oil eventually ya le swafala, mme ha ile swafala yana ga ra tshwanna gore re lathele gongwe le gongwe ha go sa hapegang, because hydrocarbon compounds ga di a siamela tikologo ka ditsela tse di mmalwanyana. One, hydrocarbon compounds ha o di tsholela gongwe le gongwe di a o hella di kgokologala ko matamong a rona le mo dinokeng tsa rona. Ha di tsena mo matamong a rona kana matamo a rona re nwa metsi mo go one, mme ha re nwa metsi mo go ona ha re setse ra le swafaditse ka tsone di weletse tsa rona tse go ra gore ba ba neetswe maikarabelo a gore ba thatswe metsi a rona ba tise mo seemong sa gore re ka anwa a go hella ba gore go nna le dithwathwa tse di kgolokgolo tsa gore ba ntshe tsone di hydrocarbon tse kana di wele tsone tse mo metsing a rona. So seo e be se ira gore a ile gore ba irisa dithwathwa tse di tona gore ba ntshe di oil tse mo metsing a tshwana me ebile a ga borone dam kana se se ra gore cost ya teng ya o transferela go rona banui ba metsi kana ba dirisi ba metsi. So ke rona ba ile gore ko phelong ya nako ba tabe ba bata gore ba kgone gore ba re siele metsi nako tse tsote ebe ba tsholetsa thwathwa gore thwathwa ebe ya go thatswe metsi a ra le swafaditseng ka di oil tsa rona. Sa bobedi ke gore mo dinokeng tsa rona le mo matamong a rona go na le ditshedi tse e leng gore re tshela le tsone, e ka netswa ile ditshidinyana tse dinyenyane di tsenekedi, e ka netswa ile ditshedi tse e leng gore di nna ho gore di tshele mo metsing jaaka dithapi tse e leng gore ke botshelo ba rona re tshwara dithapi e be ra go e nna tsone dijo tsa rona. Jaanong ha metsi a khotetswe ke tsone di wele tsone tse dintseng jaana tse di na le bothole bo e leng gore di a go bola tsone dio tse di tshwana le dithapi. Di hydrocarbon di wele tsone tse tsa rona tse gape di na le bothole bo e leng gore bo bola dithare tsa rona, mme kana dilo tse tsotlhe tse ke le bopo le e leng gore le tshwanetse gore re be re le thokometse re le baballa ha re bua ka tikologo e tsogileng sente, a safe and clean environment. Ra be re ra tikologo e leng gore ga ya khotelwa ke tsone dio tse dintseng jaana. Di hydrocarbon gape re tshwantse re itse gore le rona hela ha di a go gore di a go contaminate kana di le swafatsa dijo tse re di jang ka ngwetsela le ha di tsena mo mmeleng wa rona re ka nna ra lwala malwetse a tshwana le di-cancer. So tota hela go botlhokwa gore di weletse gore ka ha re di lathang ka teng ha re sena o ne re di dirisa e be le mo go hapegileng. Se e leng gore re se itemogetse ke gore mo metseng ya rona e harologanye go na le batho ba e leng gore ke ka re ba khenekela di dirisiwa tse di tshwana le dikoloi gongwe le gongwe, mme ha ba sena o ne ba kheneka dikoloi tsene tse dingwe ha ba di service ba draina tsone di oil tse di setse di le dintsho di supa gore di setse di le swafetse. Mme se e leng gore sa diragala ke gore ba bangwe ba bula di septic tank kana di drainage tsa rona tsone tse di gasagasang metsi a rona le so mo metsing e be ba tshollela tsone di weletse mo teng. Go dira jalo ga se go dira mo go siameng ka gore wele hela ka popego ya yone a o e tshela mo di dirisweng tsone tse dintseng jaana ya go hella e blocka e be go ra gore re nna le di diriswa tsa rona tse di penologa mo metsing ya rona metsi a leswe e be re simolla re nna le menko e leng gore ga ya siamela botsogo ba rona. ke sone se re reng dilo tse dintseng jana tse ga di a siama mo tiro ente e tshwantseng gore re dire ha re bereka le diwele tsone tse tsa rona tse re di dirisang tse ke gore go na le ba ba tsere maikarabelo a gore ba beye di dirisiwa tse leng gore ka tsone re ka o tshela diwele tse mo go tsone gore re ko phellong ya nako ebe ba tsa diwele tse ba go di latha ka go haphegileng mme ke sone se leng gore ke tsamaiso e leng gore re batla gore Batswana bothe ba e tlhaloganye ba itse be ba e dirisa gore diwele tse tsa rona tse di tshwana le bo di diesel tse di tshwana le bo di petrol ga di a tshwanela gore re ka di tshollela gongwe le gongwe ka gore tota hela di bothabetse mo tikologong di goreletsa sengwe le sengwe se se tshelang mo tikologong ga di a gore ga di a siamela all life forms that I can think of mo tikologong ya rona.
Yeah, the problem the oil is made, the oil, there are certain minerals that are added to it, of which some of them they react to our skins, some of them they damage our skins. So you have to handle them with care. So when you dispose, if you just pour them somewhere on the ground again, it becomes slippery, it infects the ground, it affects the environment, the biological things that might be around there. Therefore, it's very important that we make sure that we dispose, we handle it with care, because it can affect our skins, it can affect our health, it can affect the environment.
In order to provide solutions to the management of used industrial oil, Tshole Trust was created as an entity formed by agents involved in the production, distribution and management of motor oils that will eventually become used oil. The overall objective of Tshole Trust is to monitor, coordinate and increase the efficiency of all oil recovery infrastructure according to the recommendations of the Department of Waste Management. The work of Tshole Trust is not only focused on the collection, but also on the remediation of oil spills. The identification, monitoring, and limitation of the activities that generate residual oil that threaten the well-being of the environment, the dissemination of the need for collection of waste, awareness of the agents involved. Small workshops, factories, transport companies, and the dissemination of environmental education among the population in general, in order to increase the amount of used oil collected, recycled, and revalued.
The oil le gona le ba ba etsayang ba e dirisa go merakeng ya bone ba bangwe ba e tsaya ba go tshela mo mahuting a le gore ga a siama tsenya dilo tse di sa siama mo teng mo go tshwana le ditshipiana mo gongwe re isa ko scrap yarding. Ba kile ba re bolela ba re botsa diputso tseo ba re advise gore mo go tshwana le bo di-oil re tshele mo di kgamelong gore batho ba e tsayang ba e tseye le rona re leke gore re clean go ne school. So re dira jalo ha ke change oil ke buela ka hatase ka ke tsenya container ka hatase e be tshurugela mo containereng ha sona e hella mo container ke a tswala ko tase be ke tsaya that use the oil be ke tshela mo container, somebody will come and pick it up.
One of the main initiatives taken by Tshole Trust to facilitate the collection management is the installation of oil tanks in council landfills to collect used oil. These deposits are accessible by commercial users of used oils that can download their stock in them and thus facilitate their collection and transport to recovery and recycling plants. The landfill deposit process is simple and accessible, and there are also personnel in the collection points that can help users and instruct them. The idea is to extend these deposits throughout the country to get commercial oil users to have an oil receptacle nearby and facilitate their accessibility.
Basically what we do here is that we invite everybody to bring their used oil and come and deliver it in this tank. We understand that before it was difficult to bring used oil to the tanks because of the functionalities or the user friendliness, which didn't exist. But right now we've put in equipment that allows you to come with your vehicle here with drums and then you can decant from. UNDP has funded us and even Total has given us used oil tanks. The idea of the trust is that we distribute these tanks as much as possible around the country.
So far, there are deposits installed or in the process of being installed in the most populated and industrialized areas of the country. Gaborone and its metropolitan area have the largest number of tanks, followed by Francistown and the area of Phalape, Serowe, Mahalape and Selebe Pikwe.
Because of the fact that we know how much oil we bring in, but we don't know how much oil we collect. So that has been the major thing. In fact, these tanks are even going to be modified further than this, to a state whereby we have meters that calculate how much oil is going in and calculate how much oil is coming out, so we know that which areas are more busy than the other areas in terms of used oil collection. The point is that used oil to the ground is what we don't want. We don't want any used oil to the ground, and therefore that's the reason why the Tshole Trust has come up to put up these bulk containment storage tanks, that it makes it easier for all oil to be collected. Why we don't want used oil to the ground is simply because oil is a contaminant, it's a pollutant, and what's worse about it is that it destroys all living organisms, whether it be fauna, flora, or even ourselves as human beings at the end of the day. It does have an impact. So for that reason, we know that we need oil to survive, and that's the reason why we use it. But we also need to collect the used oil to make sure that all of it is collected at the end of the day.
Used oil collection is whereby the different producers of oil engage a service provider who can assist them in actually loading or collecting the oil from them and disposing it in an environmental friendly manner. And this involves the used oil collectors.
In order to achieve the success of the project, it becomes necessary to involve the agents that are obtaining the waste. This work is especially important when it comes to small production units, bush mechanics, or small industries, since they are one of the main channels of collection of used oil.
Well, basically what happens, once you've put all your oil, you used oil into the big receptacle, we've got collectors who come around and suck from the tank, and we've made it also user-friendly for them in the sense that they have couplings that they just plug their tankers into, and they can suck all the used oil out of this main.
I think anybody can just do it, because oil is something that you cannot just pour anywhere, even from your hands. You see that this is not like soap. It's not like just common water. It just disappear. Which I think anybody can, if you just knows where that you have to keep it, you have to dispose it well. I think anybody can do it. But anyway, it's better that you get a bit of a training to know the causes, the environmental results of just throwing oil around or pouring oil around.
We collect the oil, brings it here on our site, having gone through all the requirements from the Department of Waste Management, that is having done the environmental management plans and also having the site being licensed to store used oil here and also to work with any hydrocarbon waste. For now, we are currently doing a little bit of processing, that is removal of excess water and also removal of solids. And thereby we load our oils and export it to South Africa to where there are refineries and recyclers who are going to cycle it further into different products.
It is also necessary to develop measures to mitigate the effects of uncontrolled spills, for which Tshole Trust trains personnel to apply bioremediation processes for discharges.
The bioremediation, that is the biological way of actually taking out the oil from the soil. So how it happens is there'll be microbacteria that are added into the soil, and then it has to be dampened and cultivated time to time to ensure there's enough moisture, there's enough oxygen, and that's how the bacteria start working on the soil to eat away the hydrocarbons.
Yes, re na le batho ba ileng gore with the oil, used oil, ba e tsholela gongwe le gongwe. You find that the drums are full and others are leaking, and you meet the used oil along the street or along the trenches, and those trenches of course will flow to the rivers. That will result in pollution, of course. No, we rely with Tshole Trust to come and assist us on how to operate the machine. By doing that, we also have to pass it through our PHAs in order for them to be effective in using the equipment.
Surely there are a lot of interventions that are currently taking place where there's a control of oil discharges across the country, and a lot of companies, I think more than 3 or 4 companies have now opened to recycle oil so that we can reuse pollutants in the environment. So oil discharge, yes, it's very dangerous for the environment, and we as a ministry, we do promote these companies that are all out to ensure that there is there's management of oils that could be detriment to the environment.
Botswana is a country in the industrialization phase with a high rate of economic growth. As a consequence, there will be more and more need for hazardous waste treatment. For example, the vehicle index per 1,000 inhabitants has doubled in 10 years, and with it, the used oil they produce.
We are still very, very challenged. As I'm saying, you know, we see substantial amount of waste being generated by this country. I think this is because of rapid industrial development, population growth. Those are the 2 main triggers why we are generating a lot of waste. And we see a waste that is complex in nature. Because, you know, way back when Botswana was still like before independence, or maybe during the early years of its independence, most of the waste that we were generating was agricultural-based waste. And it was simply broken down by the action of nature. Even if, you know, we have to put that agricultural-based waste in the so-called Ditotobolo, we knew that, you know, it will be broken down, it's not a problem. But we see the type of waste that is being generated nowadays being very, very complicated, complex in nature.
In this context, it is very necessary to be aware that our country will need to adopt measures as soon as possible to reduce the environmental cost of development and control the production of hazardous waste derived from economic activity. The control and management of this type of waste, sometimes generating an economic return, is a guarantee of the sustainability and development. This can be part of our contribution to the global problem of pollution and climate change.
As much as most people don't know, they do know that oil is not friendly to the environment. They do know that oil doesn't decompose. You know, they know the effects. They might know the detailed effects, but they know that oil is not good. You know, if you dispose it improperly. Yeah, pretty much don't spill oil. don't spill oil onto the floor. That's just it's a basic common knowledge.
We have the opportunity to adopt measures of excellence that put us at the forefront in terms of management of this type of waste, and we must do so to guarantee future generations a friendly and sustainable environment.